Simply getting to the Chernobyl exclusion zone is a treacherous journey. Many streets and bridges destroyed, we had to go off-road, crossing rivers on pontoon bridges. Finally, we reached the confinement dome of the power plant that blew up in 1986, the worst nuclear accident ever. Russian troops invaded this area on the very first day of their war against Ukraine and took Chernobyl without much of a fight. Now that the Russians have left, Ukraine's Interior Minister, Denis Monastyrsky, took us to Chernobyl, and what we found was troubling. The Russians imprisoned the security staff inside the plant's own bomb shelter, the Interior Minister told us. No natural light, no fresh air, no communications. So the Russians kept 169 Ukrainians prisoner here the entire time they held this place. And then when the Russians left, they looted and ransacked the place. Among the prisoners, police officers, National Guard members, and soldiers. Ukraine's interior minister tells me the Russians have now taken them to Russia, and they don't know how they're doing. When I arrived here, I was shocked, he says, but only once again realized that there are no good Russians and nothing good comes of Russians. It is always a story associated with victims, with blood, and with violence. What we see here is a vivid example of outrageous behavior at a nuclear facility. While the plant's technical staff was allowed to keep working, the Ukrainians say Russian troops were lax with nuclear safety. And as we enter the area Russian troops stayed and worked in, suddenly the dosimeter's alarm goes off. Increased radiation levels. They went to the Red Forest and brought the radiation here on their shoes, this National Guardsman says. Everywhere else is normal, only this floor is radioactive. I ask, everywhere is okay, but here is not normal? Yes, he says, the radiation is increased here because they lived here and they went everywhere. On their shoes and clothes, I ask? Yes, and now they took the radiation with them. Let's get out of here, I say. The so-called Red Forest is one of the most contaminated areas in the world, especially the soil. The Ukrainian government released this drone footage apparently showing that the Russians dug combat positions there. The operator of Ukraine's nuclear plants says those Russian soldiers could have been exposed to significant amounts of radiation. We went to the edge of the Red Forest zone and found a Russian military food ration on the ground. When we hold the dosimeter close, the radiation skyrockets to around 50 times above natural levels. Ukraine says Russia's conduct in this war is a threat to nuclear safety in Europe. The Chernobyl nuclear power plant hasn't been in operation for years, but of course this confinement needs to be monitored 24/7, and also there's spent nuclear fuel in this compound as well. And it's not only in Chernobyl. Russian troops also fired rockets at Europe's largest nuclear power plant near Zaporizhia in southern Ukraine and are now occupying it. Ukraine's energy minister tells me the international community must step in.
I think it's dramatically impact, and that is really the act of nuclear terrorism, but what they are doing.
Chernobyl is close to the Belarusian border. The Russian army used this road as one of its main routes to attack Ukraine's capital. The Interior Minister says his country needs more weapons to defend this border. Today, the border between totalitarianism and democracy passes behind our backs, he says. The border between freedom and oppression. We are ready to fight for it. And the Ukrainians fear they may have to fight here again soon, as Russian President Vladimir Putin replenishes his forces, continuing to put this nation and nuclear safety in Europe at risk. Fred, CNN at the Chernobyl nuclear plant in Ukraine.